Hi, it's Thomas, and you are watching You Just Got the Boot. Bestie! You were so close!
I was so close.
You really made it super duper far.
Yeah.
You were my pick for a final three. Even you were my top pick. I had to say it.
They voted me out because I would have won if I made it there. So
right. And it turned midnight, so it's no longer Juneteenth.
You're right. That's when it happened. That's when it happened.
No.
It is still June though, so.
Correct.
Whatever.
Still Pride. Yeah. Anyway, so let's just give me a 90-second. Give me a 90-second breakdown of your game.
Of my game?
Yeah.
So I have not played before, so I was like, you know what? I'm a very sociable person, so I'm just going to make friends with every single person that's in here right now, so that when it's time to vote, they just won't even consider putting my name there, because I have told every single one of them that I love them dearly and would never vote them out. Never. So that worked until there was like 7 left. I think Emily was the one that was starting to mess it up.
Right.
So then I was like, she's gotta go. So then we got her out. But little did I know, there's a final 3 lines, but that was really my strategy. It was a social game. So
Right.
I think it went well.
Honestly, like, if there's a final 3, especially one that's strong as them, like, it's kind of impossible to infiltrate unless you convince one of them that, like, the only way they'll win is to bring you and to kick someone else out.
Well, I attempted that, but the thing is, Emma said she didn't want to switch on Kitty because she said that she just didn't think it would go over well for her when it was time to vote, that she took someone to the top and then switched on them, which, like, okay, sure. And then Bryce was just like, no, I already decided, so I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. It's hard. It honestly depends on, like, who it is and circumstances and
plus
how
they were all, like,
are.
OG gold team, I was green. That was, whenever we voted out Zappy, which was kind of, like, inevitable because they weren't going to vote each other out and it was just the 2 of us left. And I was like, okay, well,
right.
I see what's going on.
Right.
But it was too late.
Right. Is there anything about your game that you would change?
Gosh. I think the only thing I would change was there was a certain point where Bryce was as good as gone. But the problem is that I couldn't really vote that way because for some reason Emily just wanted to vote me out. That was the round where I got 3 votes randomly.
Yes.
So I had to vote her out, so therefore could not vote Bryce out. So would I do it differently? No, because then I might have gotten out, but that would have been, I think if I got him out in that point, maybe, but I couldn't.
Right. I think some of your strengths were just making everyone feel that you trusted them and that, like, you were on their side, and so it was almost impossible to, like, create a divide.
I think he gave Emily the impression that he was taking her to the top with him, so then I think maybe that's why she decided to vote for me. I don't really know what that was, but I was like, okay, well, no.
No, you had a good read. That's exactly what was going down.
So,
so I'm trying to relate with all of the contestants as they come out by sharing a fact about myself and then having a follow-up question that somewhat relates. So you may know this, but my go-to Taco Bell order is the 5-layer burrito. And like that 5-layer burrito, I feel like your game was very layered. So how do you feel like you managed all of the relationships that you had in the game?
I think, so in the beginning, when we were just green team, gold team, it was very easy to manage because from the jump, they jumped on Brandon and Paige. I don't know why. And I was like, all right, that's fine. I'll just jump on them too. And then I had a feeling we would have some type of swap after 2 or 3 eliminations. So I was like, I just need to get through that. And then once the swap happened, I went to Exile Island, so it did not matter. Got back and Patrick was gone. And I knew at that point if I kept myself aligned with Will, it was not going to go over well for me. So it was just kind of knowing when to jump ship with certain people at the right time, which I would feel bad about after, but I kind of had to.
Yeah.
So at that point, then I jumped into an alliance with the other Patrick, Piggy, and Emily to take that Will out so that I could stay. And then we ended up going into a merger after that, so then none of that mattered.
Right.
So just kind of jumping ship when it was time.
So I know at one point Emily still thought that you had an idol. How did Exile Island play into your game, and how did you go about not being perceived as a threat, even though you had that elusive secret power that nobody really knew what was going on?
When I went to Exile Island, there was a challenge to win an idol, but I got the challenge. I finished the challenge, but you had to do a puzzle after you did the little use the map to find the pieces. I did not have time to do the puzzle by myself, so I brought it back here with me, and I gave it to Michaelin and Emma, and I said, "Yo, try to solve this." But in the meantime, Emily basically cornered me as soon as I got back and was like, "Well, we're whenever there. You don't have to tell me, but," which means if I don't tell you, you're gonna try to let me out.
Right.
So then I was like, after they flipped on Patrick, I was like, well, that's interesting. So I lied to her and told her I had an idol and I didn't.
Right.
And then she basically saw that as an opportunity to align with me because she was like, oh, we both have idols. And I was like, that's fine if you think that. So she thought it for 5 rounds that I had an idol and I did not have one. So.
Right. As you vote for a winner, what is your ideal winner? You don't have to give a name, but just what are some aspects of gameplay? No. What are some aspects of gameplay that you value?
So I really I'll give a name, I don't care.
Yeah.
Should I not give a name? Am I supposed to not
I think
have
this is
voted yet?
technically before the finale, so.
Okay. So I think for me, I have to look at the person that one played the best, challenge wise, and also played the best socially, not just one or the other.
Right.
And so that's where I'm going. For someone, if you play a good social game, that's great for you if that gets you to the top. But I don't think that makes you the best player.
Gotcha.
Whereas if there's someone who was a good social game and good physical and they got all the way to the top, they're a better player than you were.
Right.
So
right.
That's what I think.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Then one final question. So I have 5 phrases. And I want you to pick the one that resonates with you the most and explain why. You can also add to the list and say something within the theme. You'll get a theme very quickly. Okay? So we have boot scoot boogie. I got a snake in my boot. These boots are made for walking. Boots from Dora the Explorer. Or Slay the House Down boots.
Wow. I think I'm going to have to go with number 3.
Which is that?
Go just because these boots are made for walking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, why? Why?
I don't know, she's just so powerful, why not?
Right.
Right.
You played wonderfully, especially for your first game. You created very, very strong connections with all of your fellow contestants. I think you had a great game today, and I think you should be proud. Any final words?
No, I think that was fun set up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been asking each contestant to show us your highest kicks.
Stop!
But I need you to look into the camera and say, I just got high kick the boot. Okay? The stage is yours.
I unfortunately just got the boot. Thank
you so much, Erin. And that's it.
And that's
Have
it.
a good night.
Alright. This is so annoying.
Hi. Hey, it's Thomas, and you are watching You Just Got the Boot, but these guys did not. No. Give us your names real quick.
I'm Bryce.
Emma.
I'm Pity.
And we have our final three. What a game, guys!
What a game.
Wow, y'all have been a trio from the start.
Yes.
From the beginning.
From the first round.
Yep.
So, talk to me how that was formulated.
So Pity came up to me because we were doing the raft in the very first challenge, and he came up to me and he was like, "So I really want to work with you. Let's solidify this." And so I was like, "Of course." So solidified that with Pity, and then I was like, "Okay, what do you think about Emma?" Because I'd started having conversations with Emma at that point, and then those two went off and had a conversation, and then the three of us didn't talk until a few rounds later as a group, but we'd already solidified that the fact the three of us were working together.
It worked out because without even talking to them, like this was the two I wanted to work with.
Yeah. Coming in, as soon as I saw Bryce in the morning, I knew he's a very strategic player, and I thought his gameplay would be similar to mine. And then I also wanted a strong player who was unassuming, who people wouldn't expect me partnered with, and that was, when he brought up Emma, that was absolutely perfect.
Awesome. It seems to definitely work out in the end. It's tough to make it all the way with your original final three deal, so very commendable. Wow, incredible. Let's see. Is there anything that you would change in your game?
I don't think so. I think I'm pretty happy with the game I played. I think working with these two, I mean, I didn't win, but I think that I wouldn't have honestly had it any other way, been in the final three with any other two people.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I really wouldn't change much because I had so much fun. Maybe make one more, control the boat for one round at the end. To have that in my pocket and win an immunity.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I might have changed, I may have slipped up by mentioning Emma's name to, I believe it might have been Alex C. one round. It was right after the round that lasted like almost 45 minutes.
Right.
And we were going through so many different scenarios, mentioning so many different names, and we had like a mental breakdown pretty much because we couldn't decide what we were going to do for a while. And then when people came up to me after that conversation with Emma and Michaelin, like my brain was fried. And so I may have mentioned Emma's name by accident. So that kind of tested our trust a tiny bit afterwards, but honestly, if I didn't mention her name, it was a slip up because I was completely with these two from the start.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So throughout this series, I've been trying to relate with the contestants by sharing something about myself and then asking a follow-up question that may or may not relate. Okay? Okay, so being vulnerable, my go-to order at Cane's is a 3-finger combo. So what was your 3-finger combo in the game?
Wow, okay.
For me, I think my number one was manipulating to where we could get stone out when we did. I think that I had that in my mind that I wanted to do that, and I talked to these two, and we just went to work and got it happening. Another one would be saving myself when I thought that I was in danger and convincing Emily to use the immunity idol on me if needed. And then the third one, I think being loyal all the way to the end and having complete faith in these two.
My first chicken finger was definitely sticking with Bryce and Pity in the beginning because Patrick C, and not making an enemy out of Patrick C, but knowing that ultimately I would go with them all the way through. And then 2, when I was sent over to the other tribe, and maximizing that opportunity there with not only Pity but Aaron, and then Michael was on my new tribe. And then 3 would be at the end making sure I was choosing Bryce and Pity again over Michael and Aaron, or really anyone else that was left.
Gotcha.
My first chicken finger would definitely be aligning myself with these wonderful teammates here, and never wavering from that trust, because you can easily think like, oh, it'd be like easy to possibly blindside one of them, but really that never came up. I knew that if they took me to the end with them, they could easily blindside me at the end. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, it might be a great strategic move right at the last round, but I just don't think it's going to happen. And Aaron posed this last-ditch effort for it to happen, but since I had been 100% loyal to them all the way through, I was confident that that would be reciprocated. Second chicken finger would be just keeping all my stories straight. Like, people would always wanting to be talking to me throughout this game, so as soon as someone new walked up, I had to completely switch my story. And then someone new would walk up, I would completely switch my story. I didn't get any time to like think in between. So just getting my story straight and not slipping up was, I think, my second good aspect of the game. And then third, I think, was just also competing in the challenges. I think that may have helped me in the jury vote in the end, posing the outwit, outplay, outlast, and I spoke to the not only strategic and outlasting, obviously I'm up on the top three with these two, but also speaking to, I always competed my hardest in both the team challenges and the individual immunity challenges.
Right. I typically ask who would make it all the way to the end, but I guess it's y'all. And so just a final wrap-up question. I have 5 phrases. You'll get the theme very quickly. And I want you to tell me what resonates with you the most and why. Or you can add a phrase onto the list if it pertains to the theme. Okay? So 1, the Boot Scoot Boogie. 2, Boots from Dora the Explorer. 3, there's been a snake in my boot. 4, these boots are made for walking. Or 5, slay the house down boots, mama.
I think that's quite a few options. But I would say probably the last one. I'm gonna boost the house.
Slay the house down boots, mama.
That one. Yeah, that one. Because I think the entire game just worked the way we wanted it to, and I think that like it was just incredible as a whole. And I think every little thing that we did put us where we were in the final 3.
I would say mine would be these boots are made for walking.
Right.
Maybe more of a strut, but I had to walk and not run just because I felt like there was a target on my back. And but it was a strategic walk, it was a fun walk, and it got me here.
Wow.
I would also say these boots are made for walking. Not only do I have to talk the talk, but you have to walk the walk as well. I think confidence is a huge aspect of this game, because if you show any vulnerability and lack of confidence throughout, people will see that you may think you're in a bad position, and you never want to portray that. You always want to be taking the high road and, making people want to constantly align with you, because then you keep the majority on your side.
Gotcha. Yeah. Great work, you 3. Incredible. I have one last request. I've gotten every single contestant to do this, so I feel like you could back up. I need each of you one at a time to come up and give your highest kick. Okay? So I need you to look at the camera and say, well, for you 3, you can say, you just got kicked the boot. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
So one at a time.
I'll go first.
The floor is yours.
What is the phrase?
You just got kicked the boot. Okay?
You just got the boot.
Okay, that was alright. Bryce. Could have been higher.
Okay. I don't know
I'm sore now.
Okay. Tell me when. Okay. You just got the boot.
Her.
Recovery.
You just got the boot.
Wow.
That was
Wow.
really
That was
good.
power in that.
good.
The true survivor.
Thank you so much for joining.